Hi, I'm Clara Rose, and this is Influence Matters, the show where each week I share tips, tricks, tools, hacks, resources, whatever it is you'd like to call them, to help savvy influencers just like you to strategically and intentionally grow and cultivate their influence, because we know that influence organically generates leads for our business, ministry, cause, or brand. And that is why we're here today, my friends. So welcome once again. Before I get started, of course, I have to give a special thank you to our sponsor, Rosedale Publishing. They specialize in business books for professionals and entrepreneurs just like you. So if you're looking to get your book out into the world, those are the people to help you do it. So thank you, Rosedale, for being our sponsor. And of course, I have to give a special shout out to Tampa Bay Multimedia and WeBeam TV, where we are today in the studio, for truly making this show possible. Okay, if you are a regular follower, you know that I always start the show out, or most always start the show out, with a question from someone just like you who has emailed it to me at hello@clararose.com. So if you have a question that's just burning in you that I can answer, please send me an email, and I will endeavor to answer it on the show for you. So I usually share that at the beginning of the show, but today, there is no question of the week. And you say, Clara, why? Why the heck don't we have a question of the week? And it is because we have an amazing guest with us today. I'm super excited to introduce him to you. He is a personal marketing mentor of mine and has become a friend over the years. And I'm excited to introduce him to you. His name is Billy Robbins. Please help me welcome Billy. Hello, Billy.
Hello, Clara. Thanks so much for having me.
It is my pleasure. Thanks so much for taking some time to, out of what I know is an extremely busy day and an extremely busy time of the year, to be on my show. I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. I love to be here.
So tell us, Billy, I know what you do, but tell all of my viewers what it is that you do.
Yeah, well, we focus a lot in the sales and marketing world, but, I think the unique spin that we try to take is we are a company that tries to help our clients be extremely customer-centric. We believe that understanding the paradigm between your unique value that you provide to the world and the people who need it most actually creates the most efficient, powerful marketing. It's also just the best way to treat people. So we spend a lot of time understanding customer journey, the motivations of your best customers, and how we can serve them through their path to purchase in order to not just get customers, but what we like to see is we like to develop brand advocates. People are out there buying again and again, telling everybody about your brand, your story. And we believe, again, that that's most effective marketing, but it's also just the best way to treat people. And so that's something we're very diligent to maintain.
Very cool. So you'll come into a company and look at their overall marketing strategy?
Yeah, oftentimes that's where we begin. We'll do a bit of an audit. We'll look through kind of what they're currently doing, see kind of the different things that they're missing out on. But also, too, we like to take a step back and, again, help guide brands through that process of understanding the unique value and position and the customers they're serving. We have unique workshops that we go through that help kind of identify it. Because we believe once those two things are in place, the value and need continuum, the types of marketing, what we should be doing kind of tells us itself. So that's kind of where we begin a lot, is in that process.
So something that I didn't know before I met you was the importance of that customer journey. Now, there's a few people talking about customer journey, but not a lot. But what I learned from you is that it's not just about when the sale happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about your marketing message out into the world. It's the journey from the customer's perspective, right? Where,
Yeah,
from
exactly.
start to finish, not just the point of sale. So tell us a little bit more about the customer journey and what that really means.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Yeah, because customer journey is kind of one of those buzzwords that can be thrown around, and oftentimes when you see it online, it's more about like how do you identify and somebody's customer journey or push them through. And what we like to do is more take a step back and again really understand the motivations of your best customers. Because if we understand why they're making the decisions they're making, if we understand what they're looking for, then we can serve them better. And the way that we kind of look at it is at any given time we're either helping your customers or your potential customers achieve one of three goals: either become aware that you exist or that you're a potential solution for their problems; two, help them take their desired action, which might be to buy something, opt in for something, so on; and then the third step is to creating those advocates, and so helping them become somebody who advocates for you. And the best way to do that is to really step back and look at it through the customer's eyes. I feel like when most brands get started and companies get started, there's this moment of passion, right? As an entrepreneur or business leader, you may see a problem that you have to solve, or there's a certain people group that you desperately want to serve. And so you got this moment of inspiration, you start the business, and then all of a sudden, you got bills to pay, you got employees, you got marketing, and the business things creep in. And sometimes we start to peel back from that pure motivation of serving people and solving problems. And all of a sudden it's just more like, well, what button can I push or doohickey can I turn in to drive sales? And unfortunately, I see a lot of brands, a lot of businesses get that way. And I think one of the ways that we come in is we help them take a step back and renew the vision. What is the vision? Who are those people that you're serving? And then helping those people understand the unique pathways that their best customers are on. And we just serve them along that path. And that's the thing, is if you have a servant leadership approach, a servant attitude to your marketing, your sales, everything that you do, you're never going to wear anybody out. Even if somebody doesn't become a customer, even if they, don't end up buying your product, there still could be advocates, because the way that you present yourself, the way that you market to them is about adding value and serving them. And again, I feel like it's effective and it's just a good way to treat people.
I totally agree. Plus, if you have that servant leader heart, then it's about them, right?
Exactly.
It's not about
Yep.
you. It's that people first, which I think is so important. It removes that. First of all, it keeps the authenticity, right? So you can stay authentic, but it also removes that smarmy. That's kind of a word that I don't know if anyone else
Yeah.
uses that, but I use it a lot. Smarmy, icky feeling that you sometimes get from the high pressured sales. But this is a way that you help them see it differently so that they can remove that from the sales process. Because sales still have to happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. And that's the difference between influence and manipulation.
Correct.
And a lot of times brands or even just certain people might think like, well, the only, marketing or sales is manipulating, right? How can I position them or say the right trigger word at the right time to get them to do that? And unfortunately, there's a lot of approaches and there's a lot of companies that do that. And so there definitely is that side of it. But I actually believe if we understand core motivations and we think about serving and we keep about adding value, that's where influence really happens, right? Because I love the quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that says, "Who you are screams so loudly that I can't hear the words that you're saying." And I believe that applies for businesses. Who you are, the core motivation of why you're there, who you're serving, what you're about, that just flows through everything. And another nice thing about doing like the workshops that we do is oftentimes the business owner, the leader, they've got that core motivation. They've got the big dream. They've got the passion up here, but that doesn't always trickle down to your team, right? So by going through some workshops or documenting or having some of these things in place, it's not just a really effective way to build, solid sales and marketing strategies, but these are also tools that you can hand over to your team so that your team also understands the mission. And in my experience, a team that is missionally motivated is going to be way more productive. They're going to be way more motivated. And I think they're just going to get better results.
I absolutely agree. And how can you possibly have an effective team if they haven't bought into, like if you haven't cast that vision for them and you don't have a mission in place, how can they possibly buy into it? Right?
Exactly. It's just a job at that point, and they're going to give
Right.
job level effort.
Yes.
Yeah, and today people want purpose, they want mission, and
Yep.
so the more that you can help and show them, one, this is our mission. And then also the other side of that is understanding, well, hey, when you operate in this environment and you're operating on this mission, guess what? It's going to help you. It's going to develop you. You're going to learn skills and traits. And from a team perspective, I feel like that understanding the missional purpose and the unique goals of your team and merging those together, you never have to worry about having motivated team. You never have to worry about the pep talks and getting people,
Right.
Going, because it's an internal motivation. It's a passion that flows out of your team. And it's a really good place to get your team. It's a good culture to develop for sure.
There's that word. I talk about it all the time. Culture. Your company
Yep.
culture is so important, and you need to be creating that, building that intentionally. So when you bring on a new client, you start them off in some training, right? So you push them through some training, do some assessments of what they have going on. Tell us about the different ways that they can work with you.
Yeah, we have a few different ways that we operate with our clientele and even our non-clientele, our prospects. We definitely try to practice what we preach. We try to overwhelm people with value, right? So if we can keep serving, keep adding value, that'll probably position us as experts, probably position us as the team that you would seek to if you needed some of this support. So we have various tools, templates, like you said, assessments, understand, your strengths as it applies to customer journey marketing, or your weaknesses and how to fix those things. We have workshops, we have online videos, trainings, tools, all kinds of assortment of different assets that people can, and companies, teams can walk through. And, the way that we operate is kind of out of three different modalities. We have kind of a done for you approach, which is where we can step in and kind of do all of this for you, be the leader, almost just like you were hiring a freelance or an outsourced marketing team that just clicks right into your company. We have a done by you type approach where a lot of these tools and things that we're doing, we've built into kind of step-by-step, do-it-yourself type process where you can follow videos and tools, and we have templates and all kinds of things to go along. Or we kind of have a middle ground where we do it with you. You're operating, you're doing the two types of things, but we have an intent company representative standing by that are answering questions, getting on calls, walking through all the different steps with you. So, we try to keep it as flexible as possible. We know not all businesses are the same, not all budgets are the same, not all, strategies are the same. So we try to create as much flexibility as possible so we can serve companies with where they need it.
That's awesome. That gives also opportunity for someone who has the smaller budget because they're a solopreneur or a small entrepreneur or a new entrepreneur maybe, or a new thoughtpreneur.
Yep.
Gives them the option to start getting some direction, right? And some guidance in the right direction, because we all need marketing help. And then maybe take it to the next step at some point and say, okay, let's do some of this together. And then ultimately, when you hit a level of success that, gosh, I need somebody, right? I need somebody to handle this piece. And that either means bringing in a body or outsourcing to, a company. Then you already know the company, right? You already are partnered with Intent Company, right? So then it's an easy next step to say, psh, let's just let them do it for us. That's a great feeling for that small company, like my company or people who are like me. A lot of my authors, in fact, are those small thoughtpreneurs or small companies that are looking for, okay, I need some help right here, right now. I can't do, I'm not in a place to do that other yet. So I love that you have options for them. I do a similar thing in my own business. So
yeah, I may have gotten the idea from you. So.
We have been working together for a couple of years, so hopefully
we have
learning from each other, right? That's
Absolutely.
the goal. That's the goal. And hopefully 2021 will be when your book gets published.
That's true.
That's
and as long as you're still there making it, getting on me, I'm going to get it done.
I still have the whip. Right.
That's right. Yeah, we moved past the carrot and we're on the stick.
We're on the
So that's
stick now.
totally fine. As long as it gets done, we don't care, Clara. Just get it. We got to get it done.
It takes time. People don't realize how much time it takes to build a book, but we all understand the value that the book brings to building our influence, right? And it needs to
Yep.
be strategic and intentional. Which I love the
Like
name of your company, Intent Company, because
exactly.
I'm a preacher of the intentional.
Yep. I loving your pre-roll of the show, right? Hey, good things don't happen by accident, right?
Yes,
So we've got to have
that's
we got to
right.
have the right plan. We got to have the right team. We got to execute. We got to realize it's going to be hard. And so yeah, no,
Do it
I love what you
anyway.
guys are doing here. This is awesome.
Do it anyway.
That's
Yes.
right.
So I tell all of my authors, all the people that I work with, success is not accidental. Right? It doesn't just happen to you, right? You need to be strategic and intentional about creating it. Right?
Absolutely.
And that comes from influence. So that is why I'm on the show every week preaching about influence. And I love that you understand that you understand that it is about influence. And kind of what you do is help people to create influence, right? From the marketing side.
Yeah, absolutely, we do. One of the things I think that the essence of what we do that helps is, we don't create the influence, right? We help brands, companies extract the influence that we know that they have, help it package up in a way that we know is going to be palatable and easily delivered to people, and then the side of it is that we build a lot of systems. We believe that building systems is the right way to go and build certain sales and marketing approaches, because systems are reliable. You get a reliable result over time, and if you see that over time, then you can improve it, right? So one of the problems that we see a lot in the sales and marketing world, especially if you're online a lot, reading the blogs and the videos, you almost feel like every second there's a new thing, like, oh, the greatest thing ever is this, and it's just this kind of one-time tactic. And tactics are different than strategies. Right? Strategies and principles are solid. They're something you can stand on. They don't change when Facebook changes something or Google changes something, right? So that's one of the things that we got to be careful of, is not just following the wave of tactics that are out there, but following systems, principles that we know work well, that have been here for a long time, and then applying your unique attributes, your unique spin to that. And that's a big part of it, and so I always recommend to brands is keep it simple. Keep your marketing and sales approaches simple and stick with it long enough so you can see results, so that you can improve those results. And that's one of the biggest things that I think happens a lot when any kind of company starts off on new endeavors, is they give up too quick. Right? There's a moment of passion. They see this, oh, this is a great idea. They go to implement it. Maybe they don't get the right result they wanted right away, and it's kind of like, oh, let's throw it in the trash can. But most success is iterative. In fact, every successful business that you've ever seen, I got to tell you, the successful business you see was not the original idea that they had, right? The back of the napkin looked a lot different than what it looks like today. But instead, you come up, you implement, you learn, you repeat. And if you keep that process, if you're always acting and paying attention, learning what's working and what's not, and allowing yourself to grow, I mean, can't say anything's guaranteed, but boy, success is going to happen if you're always climbing that ladder and finding out what's working and serving and growing more.
Right. And that's that whole measure, monitor, and adjust. Measure how are
Yep.
we doing? Monitor the pieces, right? Look at the data and then adjust accordingly. And I think that's something that you guys really excel at, is helping people to see the data even. I think that for me was eye-opening to see that I wasn't paying attention to the important stuff, right? I wasn't seeing the data and looking at the data and saying, like, what does this mean, right? I did the Facebook ads on my own, and then I didn't get the results I was after, so then I quit, right? So then I had to take a step back and say, okay, I need professional help, right? I need somebody. And so then, same thing that you just said, you said to me, right? You know what? You have
Yep.
to give this some time. You have to have some true strategy, which is indeed different than the latest flashy tactic that comes and goes, right?
Yeah, and if you have a solid strategy and you know where you're going, then when that flashy tactic comes in, you can say, okay, where does that fit into this paradigm? How could that maybe boost this or boost that aspect? But we don't rest our business on a flash in the pan tactic.
Right.
We have principles and strategies, and we allow tools, technologies, and the things to flow to help implement our set strategy.
Because they come and go. Those
Exactly.
tactics and those things, those shiny, flashy
Yep.
things come and go.
Yeah, we call it the shiny new toy
The
syndrome.
shiny new toy. Oh,
Yeah.
I totally can get sucked into that.
It's easy to get
Yeah.
sucked into that for sure.
Yeah, AppSumo gets me all the time. I don't know if you if you're an AppSumo fan.
Yes, I've definitely spent quite a bit of money in AppSumo.
Because they're always sending you, look at this cool new
Hmm.
thing, and then my first mistake is opening the email, and my second mistake is going over to AppSumo to look at it and go, ooh, this is cool. Then before you know it, I have a
Hmm.
lifetime access to this cool new toy.
Well, that brings up a good point. One of the things that we talk about a lot is that you want, in a lot of ways, you, as a problem solver, as a business owner, you're kind of a generalist, right? There's so many different ways that you probably tackle problems and you solve problems. You have these various ways. And one of the issues I see a lot is that you kind of want to show everybody how much you know. So you're like, blah, and you have all these different ways that you do everything, and it becomes convoluted. It's like, well, I don't understand. It's not clear to me. And so even though you may have many different ways to solve problems and many ways to do it, and you could be a generalist, and I do believe being a generalist is a successful way to be an entrepreneur and a business leader, your marketing needs to be specialized. And you could have 10 different specialized approaches that feed into the same thing. And so, because you got to figure out at any moment, somebody has a need. I'll give you a perfect example. If anybody's ever bought advertising like on Google or Bing, keyword research, if you think about it, a keyword is someone asking a question, right? They have an intent. They have an intent to try to understand or fix something, so they're doing a search. So what you have to understand is what is the underlying motivation, intent of that keyword, and then your ad that you show them is a promise to fulfill intent. I promise if you click on this link, I'm going to solve that problem that you had. And then the landing page, the place that you drop them, is the fulfillment of intent. And if you do that well, if you understand intent, make the right promise to intent, and then you actually fulfill the intent, you're going to have really successful marketing. But it really needs to be along that line. And so, again, one of the things I see a lot of is brands, sometimes they're almost too vague, too broad. And instead, a lot of times when you're presenting your message, you want to zoom in on one particular problem, one particular solution, so you have clarity in your messaging, and that's going to get way better results.
Yes, I totally agree with that. So well said. I think I talk a lot about that in the beginning with my authors before we start their book. What are you going to do with this?
Yeah.
And what message are you trying to get out into the world, right? And who's your ideal reader? Well, everyone. Well, no.
Right.
Not everyone.
Right.
We're after fixing that one problem. We're after that one thing. Very well said.
Because you can always write another book, right, Clara?
Yes, you can always make it a
Write another
series.
book, launch another marketing campaign. You can
That's
be more
right.
specific, right? But yep,
That's
absolutely.
right. Such good stuff. Okay. I don't want to run out of time before you get a chance to talk about the free membership, because I think there's so much value in that. So tell us about the free membership that you have where people can engage with you at that first entry level.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as we mentioned, we want to serve, we want to add value, we want to be a part of the solution. We think that's a great way to add value. And so one of the ways that we do that is we have a member site. It's kind of our online training center. So on here, you'll have a bunch of different videos and courses, templates, and tools. And we have a free membership. And so if you go to icg.oo, that'll bring you to this page here where you can sign up for your free membership. I think instantaneously right now we've got about 9 different courses and tutorials and things like that are available to you. We're adding to that regularly. The other dynamic that we have is basically like our own social profile. Think about your own kind of LinkedIn. We have our own private community where when you sign up, you'll have a profile. You can make connections. You can have direct messages, be parts of groups. one of the things that we really believe is that the community and getting like-minded business people together is one of the biggest advantages that we can have. And, even the name Intent Company, what we think of it is, it's not really our name. It's not like the name of our business. It's kind of an aspiration. We have an aspiration to be an intent company, and we want to join forces with other businesses and organizations that also have that desire, to intent, to be a purpose-driven business, serving people, solving problems. And so, getting people together, feeding on information, content, sharing ideas back and back, we think is a great way to do that. And so we would love for you to be a part of our group. If you go to icg.oo, you can sign up for that. When you do so, please, friend request me. I'd love to chat with you on there. And I'd love to see you inside the platform.
I'm excited to get in there and just try out that piece. I love that you can connect with other like-minded individuals, because I think that's an important thing, especially for the kind of the solo entrepreneur, the thoughtpreneur who's just small. You need those connections. And the amazing... You do, because it's kind of a solitary endeavor, right? So you need those relationships.
Yeah, and success is usually more about what's happening in here. It's not the information. It's not, you've got the goods. You're good at what you do. And so getting a community around you, say, yep, it's hard. I've been there. I know this. You got this. You got that. Those types of things are probably more important to your success than more information or reading another book.
Yes.
Unless it's one of Clara's books.
Unless it's one of Clara's books, that's right.
Well, that's right.
That's right. Although getting into a group where you're chatting with people, I'm telling you, some of the best collaborations that I've ever had have come from that. And I am a part of a mastermind group, a Kajabi mastermind group, where I met the lady that I co-wrote the book with this year, 8 Ways to Mind Your Own Business. Met her in a mastermind group. Other like-minded individuals hanging out together. So, dang, we're out of time. I know there's so much more that you could tell us, but maybe we'll have you back on the show again. Thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate your time so much, my friend. Have yourself a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
You're welcome. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Okay, wasn't that great stuff? Oh my gosh, I wish I could have been taking notes. I practically have him on speed dial, and you should too. He will make a difference in your business, I promise you. Okay, we are almost out of time for today, but thank you for once again showing up for Influence Matters, and I will see you next week for some really good, savvy, goal-setting stuff. So take care till then. Bye-bye.